I think that Jalen Hurts was the biggest winner yesterday. Period. End of story. Jalen Hurts, just to rewind, we're big college football fans on this show. And the redemption arc of Jalen Hurts, I think it mirrors anyone. I mean, he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year at 18, wins a national championship at 19, and then, of course, Tua Tagovailoa, he relieves him. He's pulled for Tua in the national championship game against Georgia, and Tua gets the walk-off throw right there. He was a Heisman finalist in 21, Super Bowl QB at 24, and now he's a Super Bowl champion at 26. And I think the beautiful part for Jalen Hurts is this is not, I was just managing an offense. I was being a game manager. No, they stacked the box. They dared Saquon Barkley to run. He had less than 100 yards rushing. And Jalen Hurts, he made all the throws. He made all the plays. He ends up going 17 for 22, 221 yards, had 2 touchdowns, did have the 1 interception. But I think Jalen Hurts proved yesterday that, maybe from a just overall talent standpoint, is he Lamar Jackson? Can he do the things that Lamar Jackson do with his legs? No. Can he do the things that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow can do with their arms? No. But he's a winner. And you give him a competent offensive line, you give him weapons, you can win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. I mean, give me Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott, any of Jared Goff. Give me Jalen Hurts over those guys. Is he in my top 5? I'm going to say no. He's not a top 5 quarterback for me because my top 5, I still have to go with Patrick Mahomes right now. Second, I'm going Josh Allen. Third, I'm going Lamar Jackson. Fourth, I'm going, this sounds pretty crazy. Fourth, I'm going to go, I flipped this around, but I'll still go Joe Burrow. 5, though, this is probably a hot take. I got Jaden Daniels as my 5th best quarterback in the National Football League already with the way he can. Think about this, J-Rob. You look at me, I appreciate the reaction there, right? But think about this. If Caleb Williams, as a number 1 overall pick, had the year that Jaden Daniels had, you would say, okay, this is a number 1 pick playing at that level. He projects to be an all-pro top 5 quarterback. The way he can throw it, the way he can spin it, the way he's fluid on the ground. I got Jaden Daniels in my top 5. I think Jalen Hurts, though, as a winner, look, he'll take top 7. He just wants to win championships.
So my issue with the Jaden Daniels, if you would have said maybe Matthew Stafford, or if you would have said maybe even a CJ Stroud, I would give you a lot more leeway.
Stroud down year, Stafford is...
but I'm just saying Stafford was one of the few quarterbacks right now with a Super Bowl victory, not named Mahomes, not named Jalen Hurts. And CJ Stroud already has 2 playoff wins under his belt, despite some of the bad offensive line play and the loss of receivers, still was able to get Houston to the second round of the playoffs again, and he's only in year 2. Jaden Daniels, though, to be a top 5 quarterback, this reminds me a lot of what we did with Justin Herbert. And now where Justin Herbert is coming back down to reality, and there's been question marks. Is he really a top 5 quarterback? Is he really a top 7 quarterback? Jalen Hurts, to me, is by far a no debate top 5 quarterback, Doug. For the first reason being this. He has been a winner at every level. And I know there's going to be that crowd of people out there who say, well, wins aren't a quarterback stat. Well, if wins aren't a quarterback stat, why are we crashing down on Patrick Mahomes because he just didn't win a Super Bowl in the GOAT debate? You care about his wins and his losses. Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback in NFL history to start their career. He has 10 touchdown passes, 10 rushing touchdowns, And Doug, he only has 3 interceptions. That's 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. This kid has played flawless football. And in the game, if we said coming out of this game, Doug, that they would rush for less and pass for more and to beat the Chiefs, most people are going to say, not happening, bud. They threw the ball for more than they ran it for. And obviously, you saw the result. This kid, grown man now, has made play after play. He's come in and saved Alabama in the SEC championship that led them to a title. He's come in and won them a title. He's taken the Eagles to a championship twice. He's won one. I mean, even in the down year that everybody criticized him on, he was the most clutch player they had to lead them to the playoffs where they eventually lost to Tampa Bay. I just feel like we have to stop looking at aesthetically pleasing quarterbacks versus other ones. If they're 6'5" and can throw 80 yards, or they can make all the throws, that makes them this better quarterback. That's just not fair. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to meet the aesthetic. Yeah, he rushes the football. Yeah, he's okay handing the ball up. Yeah, there'll be games where he's in play action passes a lot. But every time you need this kid to come up big for you, he's come up big for you. And in this game, you can argue that they had favorable field position, but Jalen Hurts, when they needed him to execute, get into the end zone, get a third down conversion, the guy you paid over $200 million to be your franchise quarterback, once again, does that. I think there's no debate that if you're a great, one of the best winners in the league right now, you should be in the top 5 consideration at the quarterback position.
I just think, look, I mean, that 46-yard deep ball to Devontae Smith, I mean, he dropped that in there. I mean, he was impacting the game with his legs. He took full advantage. I look at it as this. If all the talent around you is equal, who do I think has the best chance to win the game with their arm? Mm-hmm. I mean, I would even rule out a guy like Jordan Love. As far as overall,
immediately.
You would?
That's ridiculous.
No, I mean, as far as overall arm talent in the future.
But does that really matter? My question is this, Doug. What's the difference between somebody who has a 90 arm talent versus 98 arm talent?
I think in this league, it depends on the personnel around you. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Jordan Love's ahead of Jalen Hurts right now. Mm-hmm. And if you want to have Jalen Hurts in your top 5, then so be it, for sure. But I look at things just a little differently in the sense that he's the perfect quarterback for the Eagles because they already signed up that contract, the talent around him. But I still feel like for the course of a full season, I mean, Jalen Hurts, before he threw for over 200 yards against the Rams, he hadn't thrown for over 200 yards since November. Yeah. Right? If you put up those kind of numbers on the Chiefs, you're probably not even hosting a playoff game. I mean, if you put up those numbers on the Bills, you're probably not even in the playoffs. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. But also there were some games this year where Josh Allen didn't hit the 200 mark and they still were finding ways to win. We've seen Lamar do it a bunch of times. Even Mahomes this season had some kind of ugly games you had to pull out a win. I think I think sometimes we kind of pick and choose based off like what our ideas of a quarterback are, what a player is. Some quarterbacks I feel like are allowed to win dirty. Some quarterbacks, when they win dirty,
I'll tell you this,
I think put on a bit of a curve.
I think for me, I think Hurts is he's almost too nice for me. Like he says all the right things. I mean, my wife thinks he's really handsome. You know, I think there's he's got the dimples. He's with Jordan Brand. I mean, there's the chains. I mean, I saw a funny meme. It was like Jalen Hurts wants to be old so bad. You know, he says his favorite album is Frankie Beverly live in New Orleans. He wears those high khakis and the way he dresses. I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, man, it's like, who's really in there? I wanted Jalen Hurts to win this, be like, yeah, I am top 5. F the haters and kind of get that. I mean, there's a really cold picture of him. Have you seen it where he's sitting down? He's got the Lombardi trophy in the middle. But look, I will say this. I mean, he could probably make the case as being the best Eagles quarterback of all time. Maybe.
I might be a little biased to my guy, but
it's tough. It's tough. But I mean, the fact that the Eagles have 2 Super Bowls now and everything that Howie Roseman and that organization has done, I mean, I think that there's a lot of similarities between, I mean, let's not forget, I mean, Jalen Hurts, there used to be memes where they would Photoshop Russell Westbrook's face on him, right? And he has overcome a lot, and give him credit. He played his A game yesterday, and Patrick Mahomes played his D game, right? If he played his B- game, the Eagles can possibly still win because you have Saquon Barkley and the receivers, the defense that they have. But still, I will say that you got to put some respect on his name.
Facts.
Any doubters that Jalen Hurts had as far as can you win with this current group, you got to go away. Yeah. I mean, the Dak Prescotts, the Justin Herberts, and those type of guys, the Jared Goffs, I mean, he's not in that category. I think that winning, he's up there. I mean, look, I'm just in love with Jaden Daniels, man.
I'm in love with Jaden Daniels too. I just don't want to see a Justin Herbert part 2. That's my biggest fear. I think this could be Justin Herbert part 2, and I don't want to be in a situation where we have anointed this kid at the top of the mountain, and then we have to wait for him to have 2 abysmal playoff games back to back to finally decide to wake up and smell the coffee. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And look, playing in the playoffs matters. Yeah. Performing when the lights are bright matters.
Right.
Jalen Hurts, last 5 playoff games, 1,162 yards, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 102.3 passer rating. Give him the credit. Jaden Daniels, though, what numbers does he wear?
Jaden Daniels, 5.
He's in my top 5.